Good morning and welcome back. If you're new, my name is Kayla and I do backyard gardening in North Texas. So it is, I actually don't know what day it is. It's mid-October and it's a nice chilly 53 degrees outside. So today we're going to be planting our garlic. I've had moderate success with garlic in the past. This will be my third year planting. First year, I think I overwatered and so the heads of garlic were kind of small. Last year was going really well, and then we had a huge hailstorm which pretty much destroyed most of the garden and I had to pull it early, but I was still able to preserve it. So this year I'm hoping is going to be a success. I'm going to be growing 4 different varieties this year, and I'm going to be growing in these fabric pots. I prefer pots for garlic because one, I can move them around as the sunlight changes throughout the season. And then also I'm not dedicating a huge portion of my garden to garlic, which is going to be in the ground for 6 to 8 months, which is a long time for something to be like in a dedicated space in the bed. So that's why I prefer pots for these. So this year I'm trying something a little bit new. For one, I'm growing hardneck garlic, which I haven't tried before. It's generally better suited for cold climates, but you can still grow it here in Texas. And then I'm also doing a little bit of an experiment with pre-soaking some of my garlic. So we're actually going to go back to last night to see what I did there. All right, it is Friday evening, which is the night before I'm going to be planting my garlic. So I'm planting 4 different varieties this year. 2 of them are hardneck garlics and 2 of them are softneck garlics. I've got Nootka Rose, Chestnut Red, Early Italian Purple, and Italian Late. So I'm trying a little bit of an experiment this year. So some people will soak their garlic in fertilizer the night before they're going to plant it. It's definitely not required. I've never done this in the past, but some people swear by it. So what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to, for each variety, soak half of it and then plant them out in the same grow bags and just see if there's any difference between the results and see if it's something that I should do going forward. So the first step to this is soaking them in hydrogen peroxide for 10 minutes, which is just to kind of sterilize the garlic and get rid of any microorganisms that might affect the garlic as it's growing. And then what I'm going to do is soak it overnight in a combination of fish emulsion, which smells exactly like it sounds, and baking soda. And that's essentially just to give it a nutrient boost before it goes in the ground and to kind of help the root production before it starts growing. So we will see if there's any difference between the soaked garlic and the garlic that I'm just going to plant straight out tomorrow morning. So for each of these varieties, I'm going to just pick half of them. I want to get a good combination of small and large cloves because for garlic, the size of the clove is directly correlated with the size of the garlic head that you get later. So I want to make sure I'm not like doing all of the large cloves in the liquid and then having mixed results from that. So I'll just get these separated and into these jars. I'm just going to put enough hydrogen peroxide in each of these to cover it, and we'll let that soak for 10 minutes. Okay, and while those are soaking, I'll go ahead and mix up the fertilizer solution. So the recipe that I'm following says to do 2 tablespoons of fish emulsion and 1 teaspoon of baking soda per gallon. I definitely don't need a gallon, so I'm just gonna do a quart. So I'll be putting half a tablespoon of fish emulsion and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda in here, and then I'll fill this up with water. All right, it's been 10 minutes, so I'm just going to dump the hydrogen peroxide out of these and then fill them with the fertilizer solution. Okay, and I definitely recommend having a lid for whatever container you're gonna do this with, because this smells bad. All right, and these are gonna sit overnight, and I will see you tomorrow when I'm planting. So the first thing I need to do is fill these bags with soil. I'm gonna be doing mostly compost, like 70% compost, maybe about 20% potting soil, and then 10% a combination of perlite and vermiculite, which is going to help aerate the soil and also increase moisture retention. So that's what I'm going to do now, and while I'm filling those bags, I'll tell you a little bit about the varieties that I'm going to be planting. There are two main categories of garlic, hardneck and softneck. As I mentioned before, hardneck garlic is better suited for colder climates, and it will develop a long flowering stem called a garlic scape, which is edible and one of the main reasons I want to try growing hardneck garlic. This category of garlic is also considered more flavorful and generally grows larger cloves, though not as many of them as softneck garlic. Softneck garlic is better for warmer climates and will develop more cloves of garlic, though they're likely smaller than hardneck varieties. Softneck garlic also stores longer and can be braided because the necks will be flexible. In order for hardneck garlic to correctly divide into cloves of garlic, it requires vernalization, which is essentially a long period of cold temperatures. In colder climates, this happens naturally, but since I'm growing this in Texas, I need to fake it. So for the hardneck garlic that I'm growing this year, I've been keeping it in my refrigerator for the last few weeks in order for it to get that long period of cold. The hardneck variety that I'm planting is Chestnut Red, which is a really popular hardneck variety that has a nice sweet flavor when roasted. And then I may or may not have incorrectly labeled my other garlic because I swear it was labeled as hardneck, but I wrote down Nootka Rose, which is a softneck garlic, so we'll see what happens with that one. The other softneck garlics are Italian late garlic, which has a nice mild flavor and is supposed to store well for a long period of time, and then early Italian purple, which will mature earlier and is supposedly one of the easiest to grow. Alright, I got my bags filled, and I just laid a bamboo stick in the middle of each of these that's going to divide the soaked versus the not soaked garlic. And then I've got my planting stick. These bamboo sticks are great for a lot of things. I just marked every inch down here, which I can use for determining planting depth. So garlic I'm going to plant about 4 inches deep, 3 to 4 inches deep, and then 3 to 4 inches spacing. So I'm hoping I can get 12 to 14 in this 10-gallon grow bag, but we'll see. So I'm just going to start making holes. That looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna do the regular not soaked garlic on the right side and then the soaked garlic on the left side. So when you're planting garlic, again, choose the biggest cloves if you can't plant them all. And then all you want to do is make sure that they're situated so that the pointy end is up. And that's about it. And this is actually like good fertilizer and stuff, so I'm just gonna pour this out in my bed. You can see the color's a lot different. It's like not purple anymore, which is interesting. I guess that makes sense. Is this 2 cloves? No, it's 1. Okay. Alright, and that's it. So you'll just cover them up, and then I'll come back through later and put some mulch over the top. And that's about it. All right, we are all planted. I had a couple extra cloves that I just tucked into the corner of the raised bed over there. They're not going to take up much space. So just so that I remember later, this is the Chestnut Red. This is the Nootka Rose. So these are the 2 hardneck varieties. This is the Italian Late, and the last one is the Early Italian Purple. So those are the 2 soft neck. So the last thing I need to do is put mulch over the top of these and give them a good initial water, and then they'll pretty much be good to go. Have to make sure the stick is covered or my dogs will take it out. Alright, thanks so much for watching. I'll keep y'all updated on the progress that this is making throughout the season. See if I notice any differences between the 2 methods. Besides that, I'm going to have a full fall garden tour up pretty soon to show you some improvements that have been made around the garden, as well as everything I've got growing right now. So yeah, I'll see y'all soon.